On hearing what Jesus had said, became so upset, stood up and gave Jesus a slap. Hello, my name is Olaide. Today I invite you to listen as I retell the story of the death of Jesus Christ. A story that changed everything. So it was on this fateful day when Jesus was at Gethsemane with few of his disciples praying, and there came Judas Iscariot leading a large crowd of armed soldiers. They were carrying weapons, different weapons, sword, lanterns, torches, and they came to arrest Jesus Christ. Jesus, on seeing them, who already knew what was going on, he said to Judas, "Judas, that which you are here to do it quickly." And Judas stepped forward to kiss Jesus Christ. Now, this case was a signal to the armed forces, telling them that this is a man you came to arrest. As soon as he kissed Jesus, the armed forces stepped forward and they arrested Jesus Christ, bound him and took him to Annas. Now they brought Jesus Christ to Annas and Caiaphas. Annas was a father-in-law to Caiaphas. Caiaphas was the high priest that year. And Jesus was standing in front of them in the midst of the crowd, midst of the high priest and the chief priest. Many came forward to testify against Jesus, bringing false allegations against him, just to make sure that Jesus is put to death. Some people came forward to accuse Jesus of forbidding people to pay tribute to Caesar, which is the opposite of what Jesus had taught them. Jesus Christ taught them to give what belongs to Caesar, and give what belongs to God. But they came forward to testify against him, to give a false allegation against him. Another came forward and said, Jesus Christ said he is going to destroy their temple and rebuild it within 3 days. Some people said Jesus Christ claimed to be the King of the Jews. But with all these allegations and lies, Jesus Christ, in the midst of his enemies and at the point of death, was silent. He kept quiet all through. He didn't utter a word. So the high priest asked Jesus some questions, and one of the questions he asked Jesus was that Jesus should explain to him about his teachings and his disciples. But I love Jesus Christ so much. He stood before them with confidence, not because he had pride or something, but because of his truth and his obedience to God. Even in the midst of his chaos, in the midst of his enemies, at the point of his death, he stood with confidence. He wasn't afraid to speak. So the reply Jesus gave to Annas was that, "Why are you asking me these questions when all my teachings has been in public? I have taught publicly in synagogues and sometimes in the temple. And many of the people that I have taught, they are gathered here. Why not call them and ask them what I have taught them? Why throw questions at me?" After giving this response to Annas, one of the servants to the high priest, on hearing what Jesus had said, became so upset, stood up and gave Jesus a slap.